Hi, it's Laura from Nixie Lane. It's professional. I thought today I might talk a little bit about sort of the basics, which I really could have done with knowing when I started sort of messing around with wire and beads and stuff. Now, this is specifically for sort of sun catcher type work. It might translate a bit into sort of copper wire wrapping, jewellery and stuff like that, but sun catchers is what I make. So I do have 2 children in the house and a dog. If you hear anything going on, that's what it is. Okay, so basics. What I'm going to talk about is the different materials that I use. Number 1, wire. I've already done a long video about wire, but my go-to wires, the ones I use most often, are 26 gauge, 20 gauge, and 14 gauge. That's the one I use for making frames and shapes to fill in with beads. That's the one I mostly use for spiders and dragonflies and spirals that are smaller that go inside the frames. And the 26 is probably the one I use the absolute most. That's what I use for wrapping all the beads. Occasionally I use 22, but not very often. I find this one is just the perfect size for getting a tight loop that doesn't loosen up, but that you can wind around the wire and just not have to anchor it in order to keep it in place. So those are all of these are non-tarnish copper wire, and this is not an advertisement, but I've found that this brand is really good. I also got myself some gold coloured copper wire for one project, but I don't use it very often. Occasionally I will use like a string type. I think this is nylon string, but again, don't use that very often. Oh, and if I'm doing sun catchers that dangle, I tend to use beadalon. It's expensive, but what I don't want to happen is to... You okay? I don't know, babe. Okay. What I don't want to happen is for somebody to buy a sun catcher from me and for it to fall apart. And so the beadalon 19 strand wire is really, really strong and dependable. So I use that. Children trying to find switch games. Okay, so that's wire. Chain. I use a lot of chain. I hang up most of my sun catchers with chain. I bought, because I use copper most often, I bought some red copper chain. Most chain that you're going to find is something called unwelded, which means that every little link in here is not, they're not welded together. They're like little jump rings, so they quite easily break apart. So if I mean, not too easily, you kind of twist it and pull and they pretty much break apart. What happens if I've got a heavy sun catcher is I'll do 2 strands of this I've also got some gold because I made something with gold once. Okay, jump rings. Jump rings are something that I use almost every time I make a sun catcher. I don't think I've ever not used them. You can make your own. They're literally just wire in a circle. All jump rings are made by twisting a long piece of wire around a small barrel, and then cutting them all up, and so cutting them all along the top. And so they're not like you can make them, it's easy to make them, but I buy them because I'm lazy. Okay, what else? Hammers. I found that hammers were a good investment. This is called a chasing hammer, and it has two. You can get loads of different ones. This one's got two sides. It's got a large surface, that side that's ever so slightly domed, and then it's got a small, sort of a circular, much more domed on that side. I tend to use this one for work hardening, which basically means just hammering ever kind of quite gently, tap 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 all over once your wire's in the position that you want it to be in, and that will just make it hold whatever position you want it in. You can use this side to then also to flatten parts of the wire, but don't forget, the more you hammer it, the flatter it gets, the more likely it is to break. This side, once you've flattened it, you can use this side to make a really nice little patternation on the piece of copper. So it's useful, and I like the handles long, so it's ergonomic. There's also, I've also got this one, which I didn't buy. I think we got it in like a tent kit, like you know, one of those sun shelters. But it's quite useful because it's I don't know what that is, kind of rubber or silicone or something. It doesn't leave marks, so that's quite good just for hammering out little bends that you just can't get with your hands. When you are hammering, what is preferable is to hammer onto one of these, which is a steel bench block, it's called. I keep it in the box because I don't want it to get, you want the top of it to stay nice and clean and mark free. But then you're going to put it onto your surface, put your wire on top, and then basically, because you've got two surfaces that don't have any, markings on them or indents, you're going to keep your wire looking nice and shiny, but still give it some either strength or straighten it up. So those are the hammers that I use. There are other hammers. Definitely if you're making jewellery, you'll know about loads of other hammers. I don't know about them. If you use something different, you know, tell me about it. I love learning new stuff. Do I need something better? Maybe I do. I do know that I need better pliers. I bought a plier set from Amazon when I first started. This plier set was around £10–12, came in little case like that. All the pliers are held in the case with aeroplanes. They're not held in the case with aeroplanes. They're held in the case with elastic. So, inside this case, I got some flat nose pliers which are straight, some flat nose pliers which are curved, some snippers which have a beveled edge on one side. That means a slanted edge on one side and a straight edge on the other. Some snippers, I mean, I don't really know the difference. They snip like that instead. I don't know if they're any better, or I don't know why there's two different types. I got some nylon nose pliers which broke almost immediately. Some round nose pliers, and that sort of multi diameter round nose plier set. Don't use that one a hell of a lot, but it's quite useful sometimes. Also in the kit were, and these two things broke since, a pair of nylon nose pliers, so I bought new ones and I spent more money on them. And a what's it called? Crimp bead pliers. So these have 3 different types of holes in them. I'll do a little tutorial about crimp beads, but these are specifically to use with crimp beads, and crimp beads you put on beading wire, and you use them to, instead of tying a knot in the wire, you use them to hold the wire to itself. So you thread the wire up through, let's say, a jump ring, and you put a crimp bead on, and then you take the end of the wire and push it back through the crimp bead. So effectively you've got 2 ends of wire hanging down, crimp bead with them both inside, and a loop of wire over the top. And you then use these crimp bead pliers to push that bead together. And what I found is that it's worth, for me, spending a bit of money on my crimp bead pliers, because you really can tell the difference. These ones are beadative and they're excellent. The last 2 pairs I got, the pair I got in here broke, and I'm not that strong. And the next pair I bought, I skimped, spent $5.99, instantly regretted it. They were absolutely useless. These ones I think were £10 to £12, but they're fantastic. They're so easy to use. So I guess you get what you pay for. I am going to have to, at some point, invest in new pliers, because these ones really are, the coating is coming off them. They put a lot of marks on my wire. Whenever I touch the wire with these, that it leaves a mark, and it's just not, I mean, you know what, they're great for a beginner, absolutely perfect for a beginner, but I'm gonna have to, yeah, buy a new set, I think. So those are all my pliers. What else was I going to show you? Oh yes, a jig. This is a jig. Essentially it is a flat metal frame with lots of holes inside it, and it comes with loads of different sized pegs. You put the pegs in wherever you want them to be. Say that one's not going in. Oh, there we go. Okay, you put the peg in, you put the little little rubber holder thing on the back to hold it in place. Place it down on a surface, and then you get your wire. Now obviously I'm only doing this with one hand, so it's not going to look good, but you use the pegs to bend the wire the way that you want it, and you end up with even circles. You can use it for creating flowers, so you can put like a small peg in the middle and then larger pegs around the outside or whatever, and you can create flowers like that, and they look even. I find these really hard to use, and it's probably because I tried, I wasn't very good at it, so I gave up, which is what my mentality generally is. I don't use this I have used it, but I don't use it very often. Last things I was going to mention were metal, generally they're called metal findings, and findings are any metal pieces that you use to help with holding beads together. So findings are long pins, that's a round-headed pin, a loop head pin. These are bead caps, so they go on the top and the bottom of a bead, so the wire goes through. Get the wire, bead cap, bead cap, just makes it look nice. Jump rings, they come under findings as well. More bead caps, loads of bead caps, really big bead caps there. I mean, there's a million. I could never sort of go through every different finding that you'll ever find. But another one that I found useful are, this pack here. These are called O-rings. They are brass O-rings, and I'd love to use copper ones, but I can't find any copper coloured ones. So if anyone knows where I can get copper coloured O-rings from, I'll be forever grateful. I can't find them anywhere. I'm in the UK, so that might, I don't know, you might be able to get them in America. I can't find them here. But an O-ring, I use O-rings for the top of all my sun catchers. So I have the chain, and then it's attached to the O-ring, and then the O-ring is the thing that you can hang it up on a hook. I think that's it. I'm sure as soon as I switch I'll tell you another thing that was super useful when I first started. I don't need this anymore because got the calluses now, but this is finger tape. And oh my God, at the start, I swear, the skin on my fingers was thick and cracking and hurting. I had to use that Scholl foot cream, heel crack cream on my thumbs because they hurt so much. But this stuff is fantastic. It's not sticky, but somehow, I don't know how it works, like magic, I can't get it undone right now, she says, saying it's not sticky. It sticks to itself, but it doesn't stick to whatever you're working on. So it's not at all sticky in itself, but you can wrap it around your finger and it sticks to itself. I don't know how I can, there, you can see it sticking to itself. Like that. So that was really, really useful for me when I first started, because I was trying with loads of different stuff, tried plasters, they just ended up getting stuck in the wire, but that stuff did help. I think that's it. I'm going to stop now because that's 20 minutes long. And if anyone's got any must-haves that they use that they think, oh, I couldn't do without that, please let me know in the comments, because it's always useful. Or if I've missed, if there's like a glaringly obvious thing that I've missed, let me know. And I've got a video on beads that I'm going to put out. It's quite long, so I talk a lot. Oh, frames. A lot of people use frames when they start out. I find them a bit slippery, and I mean, you've got a frame and you're stuck with that frame. Obviously you can do whatever you like with it, but that is the that is what you're using. You are using a moon, and it can be a moon like that, or a moon like that, or a moon like that, but it's, or even like that, but that's what it looks like, and it's always going to look like that. And I found that a little bit restrictive, so I don't tend to use them. I have used them a couple of times. I made one which had a spider web in here and a spider coming down here, and I love it. I think it looks beautiful. That's actually what I used the gold chain for, and the gold wire. It looks really nice, and I was really happy with it. But because my brain is always looking for something new to do, I find pre-made frames a little bit restrictive. But there are some really lovely ones out there. Okay, I'm going to go before I start talking about something else. Like and subscribe. Apparently it's really, really important, I've been told. Please like and subscribe, because if you don't, YouTube is going to think that my videos are crap. And, well, they might be crap, I don't know. But if you don't like and subscribe, no one's going to be able to see them. So please do it, because I love you and I want to be successful. Thank you. Bye.